welcome to Mixternal Messaging. I'm your host, Cynthia Hayes, and today I am joined by Stacey Blaze. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So Stacey, tell us a little bit about your extensive background and expertise.
Yeah, so I've been in B2B marketing for about 25 years, and I've had experiences in telecommunications, fintech, and cybersecurity. Most recently, I was SVP of corporate marketing at Beyond Trust, a cybersecurity company, and I led demand generation, marketing operations, brand marketing, and social media was a part of that, and it's a really important channel for the company.
It really is. Oh my gosh, fellow marketer, yay! So much fun. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. You and I chatted a little bit before about the role of social media and its impact on both internal audiences and external audience. It is that communication channel that's seen by all, shared by all, anyone can comment on it. It is, it can feel like the wild, wild west out there, but I'm really excited to dig into that a little bit today with you and your experience and expertise. So thinking about social media and the B2B world, it's a little different than a transactional, B2C brand. So talk to me a little bit about the B2B relationship with social media and how it should be leveraged and used.
Yeah, for B2B, LinkedIn is the channel. And I call it the front porch of your brand because this is where people come and engage with your company in so many ways. I think it's the most visible representation of your brand today is on LinkedIn, especially in the B2B space.
Yeah. It's huge. It's huge with our clients. I know it's a major channel, not only for like leads and things, but it's where their employees show up too, which is a really big deal. So what kind of content should B2B marketers be putting on their LinkedIn channels?
Sure, there's lots of different contents that can be considered. The value of social media, especially on LinkedIn, can be presenting your company as an expert and sharing that expertise in their corner of the industry. So things like white papers, blogs, other written content, you can have a little blurb about it, share back out to your website, it can be really great. And short form content, especially in video format, can be really compelling, especially if it's like 30 seconds or less, as a way for your audiences to really engage with the people at your company.
Yeah, video is king, hence a podcast like this. No, it is. I love that you're mentioning the variety of content that is available because so often people think they need to come up with some really amazing idea to post on LinkedIn, and that's the only time a brand can post or a person can post.
I think it's also a channel where you can also have a little fun as well. So, cybersecurity is a serious topic, but, used judiciously, things like memes can be a really more fun way to engage with your audience, and really take advantage of some of those pop culture trends that you would typically see a consumer brand take advantage of. So, like, for example, when the Barbie movie came out and everyone was talking about it, we posted a meme that showed Barbie and how her passwords could be easily guessed. And people really loved that. We got a ton of engagements, comments, shares.
Yes.
So this channel is a little unique in that way that you can bring a little bit more of that fun part of your brand.
Yeah, it is. It is that, like, it's not such a formal channel. It's not a white paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Though you can reference those formal write-ups and things.
You can use a more casual tone that you wouldn't use on your website, for example.
Because you need to stop the scroll. Like, that's the whole idea, right? It's like all of us are being bombarded and we're like, oh, wait, that caught me off guard. An IT company talking about Barbie's passwords is amazing. I love that so much. It's so creative. Okay, so thinking about from the sales team perspective, they're leveraging LinkedIn, their networks, they're showing up out there. How do you enable them, control their messaging? What are some of the thoughts that you have around how sales teams should be using LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, let's start with why they should be using it. Buyers spend many months researching products and companies before they decide to engage with a sales team. Mm-hmm. So during that time where they're doing research, learning, listening, this is the perfect opportunity for salespeople to be out there sharing that thought leadership content, showing their expertise, so that when that buyer is in the buying phase, that your company is in the consideration set.
Mm-hmm. It is tricky because especially with B2B, there's really long buying cycles. It's not like, yes, I need lipstick today. Tell me why I shouldn't buy this lipstick, right? Or this pair of shoes. This is a really long buying cycle. And to be able to show up when the buyer's ready or when they're close to being ready, you want to make sure you're still top of mind. So that consistency is a really big deal.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you empower sales rep to share like brand appropriate content on their channels?
Well, one really effective way to do that is there are tools out there called employee advocacy tools that can make it really easy for salespeople and really anyone at your company to just share the content that you've written as if it's their own. And we found that our sales team really loved that because they knew it was approved, the products names were correct, it had the right links, and it also, they had to spend less time doing it because it was really easy to access the tool even from an app on their phone and create posts that looked as if they had written it, but were actually provided by the marketing team. And there are also opportunities to personalize it a little bit too, so you don't necessarily see the same people posting the same thing.
The cookie cutter posts all come out from the same, salespeople. That makes sense. I think that probably helps then, I would imagine, with balancing what kind of content they're putting out, because you can't just sell all the time, right? There's got to be variety. So talk to me a little bit about that mix that salespeople should be using.
Sure, and it will be different for different people. Maybe a sales engineer might be interested in sharing maybe more technical content, whereas an SDR might be more interested in just a little bit more high level, who is the company content. And there's also a lot of regional content, right? So there might be a trade show in the Asia region or in the European region that the sales teams in those regions are really going to want to promote. So we make it available, and then the salesperson can go in and look at the content and choose what they want to share based on their role, their location, and what they think would be most relevant for their audience.
That's a really powerful tool. Like you were saying, it gives them confidence that what they're sharing is true and accurate, and they can just put their own spin on it, but then also that it's a nice mix of things where they're not like hardcore selling you every day. There's educational pieces or really interesting topics being mentioned.
The tool also enables us to show what's prioritized or recommended content. So maybe in a certain week, we just had a really big product announcement. That'll be pinned at the top as like a recommended post because we just want as many people out there sharing that content. And then it also allows individuals to select additional content that would be most relevant for them.
That's awesome. And then you can kind of control them from going too far on the cheeky side with with some of the memes and things, giving them that approved on brand but appropriate for the LinkedIn audience content.
Yes.
Yeah, that balance is a really good thing. So what kind of KPIs are you looking for related to like sales teams on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, if you're utilizing a tool like that, it will provide some metrics of how often it got shared, who shared it. It enables you to identify who are your real champions. Those can then become assets within the team to help promote it, getting those early adopters to say how great they think the tool is. And we would follow certain people in the company to see what they were sharing. That gave us great feedback on, well, what are they finding relevant?
Yes, what's interesting to them and their audience.
Right. And if you don't have a tool like that, LinkedIn itself provides a lot of good metrics. You may not be able to see at the employee level all the time, depending, but it still can give you an idea of what's being shared, because that can be a really good indicator of what's resonating. And then, of course, really the gold standard metric is what is your follower count looking at like over time? You want to be seeing consistent growth over time, and employees sharing your content will help drive that growth.
Yeah, that's great. I love thinking about it as like an employee advocacy platform as well. Let's talk about that a little bit with from the HR perspective. So there's the sales team looking for new clients, prospects, all of that. And then there's HR has a totally different lens on how they want the brand to show up on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about that perspective shift.
Yeah, I think the employer brand can really come alive on LinkedIn. There's two primary audiences for that, I would say, is prospective employees and your current employees, right? Because most employees follow their own company on LinkedIn. So the value for your current employees, especially in today's age where so many people are remote and they may not have that face-to-face time, is it helps them form those connections to the people that they work with that maybe they don't get to see very often. And how do you do that, right? It's finding that content. If there are in person, maybe it's a sales kickoff, maybe it's a lunch in an office or a trade show, is really showing your employees to help drive that connection and validation of the employer brand. It's also about using it as a recognition tool. So once a month, posting happy anniversary to employees in different parts of the world, different regions. If someone wins an award, for your salespeople that go to club, really highlighting that as using it as a recognition tool can really be effective in reaching your employees.
Yeah, it is powerful, and they're more likely to share and engage, as they're seeing those things come up and celebrate. I love that connection piece is really powerful. We're going to pause here to take a break, but we're going to come back and dig more into the employee side, the HR side, and then maybe get into a little of the AI, because that's a big deal out there right now.
Sounds great.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Mixternal Messaging.
Mixternal Messaging, Marcom that roars, is brought to you by Liger. Tired of your brand message being a whimper instead of a roar? Mixternal Messaging cracks the code on the secret weapon of B2B success, uniting your internal and external brand narrative. We're taking deep dives into the challenges and strategies to craft a message that resonates, both inside your company and with your clients. No fluff, no theory, just real stories and actionable insights from the trenches. We'll be interviewing marketing and communication rock stars, hearing their triumphs and struggles in the world of mixternal messaging, across industries from tech to healthcare. Ready to make your brand roar? Tune in to Mixternal Messaging, Marcom that roars, a Liger podcast. For more information, visit ligerpartners.com and follow us on our social media.
Welcome back to Mixternal Messaging. I'm your host, Cynthia Hayes, and today I'm joined by Stacey Blaze. We are digging into leveraging social media for internal and external audiences. In the B2B world, it's mainly LinkedIn that we're focused on, rightly so. So talk to me a little bit about the employees leveraging LinkedIn and maybe a success story about great employee-generated content you were able to achieve.
Yeah, a couple of summers ago, we actually had a contest that we called Beyond Travels, and we invited employees all over the world during the summertime to take pictures of themselves, either on travels far from home, or it could have been just down the street, walking their dog or taking their kids to the park. And we saw some really creative posts. We had one member of one person of the company post a picture of himself diving with sharks, holding a Beyond Trust koozie, and to more simple things of folks at the beach with their Beyond Trust water bottles or t-shirts, and people really loved it and engaged with it. And we even had some voting, and in a company update we shared some winners. And so that was just a really fun way that any employee could participate regardless of where you were.
Yeah, I love that. That is so much fun. It does promote the human connection that you're looking for with your employees as an employer, and then also showing off the fun and the humanity behind the brand is a great way to attract new employees, right?
Yeah,
to look like to let them see behind the curtain who they'd be interacting with on a day-to-day.
Right, and then there's the recruiting side as well. So on the recruiting side, we did have some more formal videos that we had taken about what it's like to work at Beyond Trust, different aspects of the employee experience, and those were on our website under the careers page, but we also really repurpose them in many ways on LinkedIn. Maybe we took a short snippet. It was also another important channel for sharing that information because, I'm going through a job search right now. Guess where job hunters are? They are on LinkedIn all day, every day. And when they see a job posting or they get reached out to about a job at your company, the first thing they're going to do, they'll check out the website, and they're going to also look on LinkedIn and see what kind of employee content what can I learn about what it's like to actually work there? And that can be really compelling. I know that in my own search, if I don't see any content like that, or I see a few pictures that are a few years old, that tells me something about the company's commitment to creating that differentiated employee experience.
Yeah, what kind of effort are they putting into it, and how easy is it for them to generate it, because the culture is so alive. There's things to share.
Right.
Yeah. So with that in mind, are there things HR should be prioritizing from your perspective on LinkedIn, the kinds of content it should be sharing?
I think it's all about highlighting the people that work at your company across departments, across regions. You want to have it be as diverse as possible, different teams, different functions, because people are going to come into your company for all kinds of roles, whether it's finance to sales to marketing to an administrative type of role to legal. You want anyone who's coming into your company to feel like, I could see myself working there. This looks like a place that will be a good fit for me. And so it's really those employee voices, whether it's testimonials, it could even be a photo with a quote. One of the things that we do is SDR Appreciation Week is something that happens every year. And we're really, SDRs is the engine of your sales team in many ways. And they're often unappreciated. They don't get a lot of the kudos, right? So we really highlighted some of our SDRs and talking about what makes them successful, how they've contributed to the company. And we got really great engagement on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Showing, again, just the humanity. These are real people.
Yes.
that we care about, and we care enough to celebrate them. We care enough to hear from them. Giving them a voice is great. I do want to pivot a little bit to AI because that's huge right now, and everyone's using it in different ways at different times, and you can certainly tell sometimes a little cringy when it's overused, right? So
I heard a term AI slop, and that really resonated with me. I'm like, oh, you read this and you can tell like AI wrote this.
Yes, no human being barely even noticed or looked at this. It's all generated and then just cut and pasted. So what are some good ways to honor the brand voice while leveraging a tool? It is a tool and it's not going away and it can be really helpful. So what are some ways people can leverage it but still remain true to the brand voice?
Yeah, so I think from a content perspective, you can upload a piece of your existing content, maybe a white paper, a blog, a page on your website, and then use prompts to say, write me 5 social posts on this. As an example. Yeah. Now, that is the beginning and it's not the end. You can't just take that and post it. There always has to be that human that's looking at it, but it can make generating that content go a lot faster. You know, companies that are really active on social media, they may be posting several times a day. So this can really make that process just be a lot more efficient.
That is like the key to it, right? It's like leverage the tool, but don't depend on it.
Right.
For everything. I do like that, feeding it your brand voice and tone even, to generate that content for short snippets and posts and things to leverage. It takes a trained eye sometimes to do that, though, because
yes,
right, an engineer might not pick up on the nuances of like, no, we don't really ever use that tone or that word, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And there's also certain kinds of posts that need more focus and scrutiny, right? Maybe if it's a big product launch, you really want to make sure that that is really tight messaging with how you want to position that product in the market.
Yeah.
For, you're going to a trade show, you're going to be there all week. That might be something that you could do a little more quickly, do a quick glance and approval. So you also have to think about the type of content as to how much time you want to spend looking at what you utilize a tool like ChatGPT for, but you should never just copy and paste. There always needs to be that review. I also think AI can be valuable from the visual component. Tools like Canva, have AI capabilities so that you can have all your brand assets in there. You can have social media templates for, the cards that you use for carousels so you've got that, once you've got that message, you can then create those assets a lot faster.
So helpful, and it's only growing, so like trying to keep up with it is really important. And then
and we talked about video, tools like Canva. There's so many video tools out there just on your phone that have AI functionality that can suggest a script, add subtitles, so that maybe 3 or 4 years ago it might have taken you a week to get the video, edit it, add the subtitles, get people to review that. You can do that in a matter of hours. So those are other great tools to just help you create content faster.
It's amazing. It's come a long way.
Yeah,
and very exciting and overwhelming sometimes, but all good and necessary.
But you want to double check those captions. Yeah. So I've definitely seen funny captions in videos where I'm like, that is definitely not the word that they said in the video.
Yeah. We've definitely caught some of those too late too. It happens. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much. I enjoyed hearing your expertise on this subject. I have one more question for you.
Yes.
At Liger, our tagline is to be known. We want to be known for saving the world from boring, broken marketing. And we want our clients to be known for all the right reasons and all the right ways. And we want the people that we interact with and work with within the brands to be known as well. So, Stacey, what do you want to be known for?
Yeah, I think authenticity. That's how you create connections. That's how you build trust. And that's really what it's about, whether it's your professional life, your personal life, that if you have that authenticity, it can really go a long way.
It really does. It makes all the difference and makes everything a lot easier to do when you're showing up authentically everywhere you go. That's really exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Yeah, I love it. And people can find you on LinkedIn, Stacey T.
Yes.
On LinkedIn. Thank you for joining me. This has been another episode of Mixternal Messaging, and I will see you next time.